This day promised to be ordinary, quiet, and completely unremarkable, until a tense situation arose in the large reading room of the library, one capable of shattering someone's hopes and undermining faith in the kindness of others. Nobody expected that, at a nearby table, it would be none other than Keanu Reeves, and that he would step in with an action that would change the lives of several people at once. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and don't miss new videos every day at 12 p.m. From early morning, the atmosphere in this spacious library had been peaceful. The soft rustling of pages and the gentle voices of a few visitors created perfect conditions for leisurely immersion in the world of books. High ceilings, strict wooden shelves filled with volumes, and the mild, diffused light streaming through large windows gave the place a sense of old-world charm. Seated at a big table by the window was Keanu Reeves, dressed simply in dark clothing. He discreetly turned the pages of another novel, trying not to attract attention. Next to him sat a young woman named Anna. Her child, little Leo, was showing obvious interest in colorful storybooks, but as children often do, he couldn't fully contain his excitement. Leo's quiet exclamations of "Mom, look," elicited only gentle smiles from the other visitors. Keanu, noticing the boy's delight, occasionally glanced up from his book to smile, glad to see a child discovering the world of reading. Anna appeared somewhat tired, though clearly content. One could see she was going through a challenging time in her life. Faint traces of worry crossed her features, despite the warm care she showed her son. She had been unable to reach Leo's father recently, financial troubles were piling up, and this peaceful morning in the library felt like a real breath of fresh air. She simply wanted to take her mind off her problems, and this place seemed the perfect retreat. However, at the far end of the long table sat a woman named Mariana. At first glance, she might have been mistaken for a film star, but a certain harshness showed through her immaculate appearance. She cast disapproving glances at Anna and Leo, yet so far remained silent, typing irritably on her tablet. Keanu, in his calm observance, couldn't help but notice each glance. Time passed. Leo, happily leafing through picture books, had no idea that a conflict might flare up. Anna quietly watched her son, smiling at his enthusiasm. Keanu, still reading, was also at peace, until a random conversation forced him to set his book aside. It happened when a librarian approached Anna with a request to fill out some registration forms. As it turned out, Anna needed to provide an additional ID for the library card. She blushed, embarrassed, she'd left it at home in her rush. Meanwhile, Leo whispered that he wanted to keep looking at more books. Anna tried to explain the situation to the librarian, who repeated the rules wearily. Without the document, he couldn't issue the card, even for children's books. At that moment, Mariana got involved in the conversation. She set down her tablet, heaved a loud sigh, and spoke irritably, "Some of us plan things in advance, instead of causing a circus here. That child is making noise across half the library, and you're trying to break the rules." Anna flushed, a wave of shame washing over her. Leo, hearing the displeased tone, clutched the book more tightly. Keanu looked over at Mariana, but still said nothing. He wanted to understand whether things truly were so serious or if it was just a minor flare-up of bad temper. The librarian tried to gently calm Mariana. "Let's be polite," he said, but she continued heatedly, "I happen to need quiet for my work. If you don't have the sense to bring your paperwork, that's your problem. And frankly, children don't belong in the library if they can't behave." Anna wanted to reply, but the words stuck in her throat. Leo, trying to make sense of this, looked at his mom and then at the angry stranger. Noticing the boy's growing fear, Keanu slid his chair aside and stood. He saw that the conflict might escalate into something bigger. "Excuse me," he said softly but firmly to Mariana. "Could we please not judge people without knowing their circumstances?" Mariana turned around upon hearing his voice, giving him an affronted, narrow-eyed glance, as though wondering who dared interfere. "And who might you be?" she practically spat, eyeing him from head to toe. Keanu smiled slightly. He knew this wasn't the place for a shouting match and kept his voice quiet but clear enough so everyone could hear. "I'm just someone who believes in kindness and helping others," he replied. "And I see a wonderful mother trying to take care of her son while you criticize her over a missing document." Mariana opened her mouth to throw more accusations his way, but a slim man named Dennis, who had overheard, approached just then. He sensed the argument might turn into a real showdown and stepped in to defend Anna. "Excuse me, miss," Dennis said gently, trying to sound friendly, "but that kid isn't bothering anyone. And if you want total silence, maybe you should pick a table away from the children's section." Mariana glared at Dennis, Anna, and Keanu, clearly displeased with the way her behavior was being scrutinized. She still hadn't realized who the man was that she was arguing with. Mariana sighed forcefully, sneering, "Listen, all of you. I don't care about any so-called wonderful mom, or whether she wants to read books. I just need quiet. This is a library, not a daycare. If she doesn't have a library card, she should go home." Anna lowered her eyes, feeling ashamed by the woman's words and worried that Leo stood nearby, hearing this. The boy looked close to tears. Keanu's voice remained even as he addressed Anna. "Do you need help? Maybe I can do something." Anna turned to him, recognizing who he was, but not wanting to draw attention to it in front of this aggressive stranger. Her main concern was resolving the conflict. "I just wanted to show Leo a few books," she said quietly. "I promised to bring my papers tomorrow. I didn't mean to break any rules." Suddenly Mariana slammed her hand on the table. "You're all driving me crazy. Enough talking. There are books at home, buy them and read there." Seeing that things were about to spiral, the librarian dashed toward the main hall to call security. Dennis tried to reason with Mariana, but she just gave another haughty snort. Keanu took a step forward and spoke in a calm yet decisive tone, "I think we can find a more peaceful solution. She's not asking for anything illegal, and the boy just wants a book." Keanu's voice conveyed both reassurance toward Anna and a gentle rebuke toward Mariana. Mariana finally scrutinized the opponent, who had dared stand up to her. Her eyebrows lifted in slight surprise as the possibility dawned on her that this might be someone famous. Uncertainty flickered across her face. "Wait," she said, narrowing her eyes and softening her voice a little. You look like..." She didn't finish. Anna, realizing how awkward things had become, quietly told Keanu, "Thank you, but maybe I should just go. I don't want to bother anyone." Leo, sensing the tension, nearly burst into tears. Keanu smiled kindly at him, "Hey, don't be upset. You know, when I was little, I loved libraries. There's a whole world inside books, and we can't let you miss out on it." Mariana raised an eyebrow, listening to Keanu speak gently to the boy. Perhaps something resembling compassion stirred inside her, or maybe her wounded pride drove her to more anger. With pursed lips, she turned away, pretending to concentrate on her tablet again. Just then, the librarian returned with a security guard, who saw that the conflict seemed to have died down but still decided to approach Mariana to see if she wanted them to escort the disruptive visitors out. Mariana shrugged. "I'm done explaining myself. This all drives me crazy. If the mom can't get a library card, she should leave." The guard cautiously asked Anna, "Ma'am, is there a problem with the paperwork? Maybe you could step out for a few minutes and come back when it's resolved." Keanu spoke up, "Isn't there a simpler solution? I already have a library registration. I can check out the books on my account. Anna and Leo can pick what they need." The guard seemed taken aback, while the librarian glanced at Anna. On one hand, it was perfectly legal for a registered patron to check out books for someone else. On the other hand, the tension caused by Mariana's complaints made any concession risky. Anna looked at Keanu gratefully but shook her head, "That's so kind of you, really. But I wouldn't want you to be held responsible later." Keanu smiled. "Believe me, I'm not afraid of a little responsibility. Besides, it might help you. A hush fell over the library, though a few curious patrons began to pay close attention, recognizing in the reserved man with dark hair and noble features the famous actor often cited in the news for his modest and generous deeds. Anna was in a difficult position. She felt awkward, knowing who Keanu was, but tried not to draw undue attention to it. She was more concerned about Leo, who clung to his dinosaur-themed book. The little boy simply wanted to read it there with his mom, to get lost in the bright illustrations. At that point, Dennis suggested, "Let me get the head librarian. She's a kind person and will probably understand once she sees someone else taking responsibility for the books." While Dennis went off to find her, Keanu crouched down to talk to Leo. "How about you read us this book out loud? I'd really like to hear it." Leo looked at him with wide eyes. "Are you really that guy from the movies?" Keanu, smiling softly, whispered, "Maybe. But right now, I'm just someone who wants to hear your dinosaur story." Mariana, hearing these words, raised her eyebrows and glanced at Keanu. She began to realize this was indeed someone she'd seen in countless interviews speaking about charity. She frowned, as if struggling between embarrassment and irritation. Everyone waited for the head librarian, and the reading room was mostly silent once again. Anna, lost in thought, recalled long, grueling shifts at her part-time job, coming home to find Leo waiting eagerly. He lacked a father's involvement, and she tried to be everything for him, his support, his companion, his protector. "Mom," Leo asked quietly, tugging on her hand, "we're not going home without a book, right?" "We'll do our best to stay," Anna answered, swallowing a lump in her throat. Keanu turned to Anna. "You know, sometimes a single kind word or a small act can change everything. Don't worry. I'm sure we'll sort this out." A few minutes later, the head librarian, a calm middle-aged woman with a friendly face, arrived. Dennis quietly explained the situation to her, and she nodded and approached Anna. "I understand you don't have all the paperwork at the moment. But our regular patron," she gave a brief smile toward Keanu, clearly recognizing him and growing slightly flustered, "is willing to check out the books on his account. If he confirms this, we can make an exception." Anna, exhaling with relief, nearly teared up as she thanked both the head librarian and Keanu. But Mariana, watching events unfold differently from what she wanted, noisily pushed her chair back and got up. "Seriously? You're going to reward her irresponsibility," she said to the head librarian. "She forgot her ID, her child's making noise, and you act like it's no big deal. Who do you think you are, letting this continue?" Keanu turned calmly to Mariana. "You just have to be someone capable of empathy. The child really isn't that noisy. Sometimes you can simply ask politely for some quiet. There's no need to insult anyone." Mariana struggled for a response. Her face reddened. She might have recognized Keanu's fame, but she couldn't easily admit she'd been wrong. Perhaps her pride and lingering resentment spurred her on. "You don't know anything," she burst out. "I need to concentrate for my job. I raised a daughter, so I know exactly what it means to be a mother. But if you can't organize your life, don't impose it on others." Anna froze, hurt by Mariana's words. "You can't organize your life," sounded painfully humiliating. Leo clutched his book more tightly, feeling the hostility from the stranger. "Excuse me," Keanu said gently, "but you're only seeing the surface of her problems. Anna isn't lazy. She's doing her best for her child. Yes, she lacks a document today, but we can resolve that quietly." The head librarian nodded, seeing that most patrons and staff were on Anna's side. She proposed, "All right, let's check out the books under Mr. She hesitated, unsure whether to say his full name, "and you, Anna, can bring in the proper documents next time." Anna didn't get the chance to thank them before Mariana blurted out, "Fine, go ahead and win. Meanwhile, I can't do my work. Stop making this into a heroic fairy tale." Unexpectedly, Dennis spoke up, sometimes a little kindness or a bit of support from a stranger is what helps people not give up. Hasn't there ever been a moment when you wished someone would help you? His words seemed to hit Mariana harder than any of the previous arguments. She glanced at Dennis, at Anna, at Leo, at Keanu, then quickly began gathering her things, as though wrestling with herself internally. While Mariana packed her documents and tablet, Keanu turned to Anna. Everything will be fine. Choose a couple of books and go ahead, read with Leo right here if you'd like. I'd be happy to listen. Anna looked at him in astonishment. Do you really want to stay? Keanu spread his hands with a small smile. Why not? I came here for a quiet read, but I found something more important, an opportunity to help. Deep down, Anna felt a warm wave of gratitude spreading through her. She noticed the curious looks from others and grew a bit self-conscious. Am I really the cause of all this fuss? Yet she also realized that thanks to Keanu and the kindness of a few others, she didn't feel humiliated. On the contrary, she felt that the world might still be full of goodness. Mariana, now ready to leave, turned around. You can fool yourselves all you like. But don't think your small burst of kindness will solve every problem. Anna held her tongue. She didn't want to prolong the conflict any further. Keanu, however, quietly but confidently responded, sometimes the smallest step is enough to change someone's life. Even if it doesn't solve everything, it can at least give hope. Mariana bit her lip, appearing torn. She looked at Keanu, then at Leo, who seemed more frightened than ever but still curious. Finally, she said, I hope things work out for you. Lowering her gaze, she strode to the exit. Perhaps she felt a pang of regret, or maybe she was simply tired of arguing. The head librarian breathed a sigh of relief and allowed Anna and Leo to read a few books right now, since someone was willing to vouch for them. Anna smiled, and Leo leaped up, racing to the children's shelves and tugging Keanu along behind him. Once Mariana was gone, the tension in the reading room eased somewhat, though an undercurrent of emotion still lingered from the recent clash. Some visitors approached Keanu, thanking him for stepping in. Soft whispers spread, that's Keanu Reeves, right? He's always been like this, hasn't he? Earning nods of agreement. At one point, a teenager around 19 cautiously approached with a piece of paper. Excuse me, Mr. Reeves, could I get your autograph? Keanu smiled, typically preferring to remain inconspicuous but unable to refuse in this situation. Of course. Beaming, the young man added, You're a really good person. Thanks for standing up for someone in trouble. Keanu gave a modest nod. I hope one day you'll help someone who needs it, too. Anna, overhearing this, realized the chain reaction of kindness was ongoing. She remembered her grandmother's words, a good deed done from the heart always returns many times over. Right here, right now, she saw a simple act, defending a mother and child, inspire others. When they'd picked out all the necessary books, Keanu offered to carry the bag to the exit. Leo grabbed his hand, suddenly, and without hesitation, as if he already trusted this man completely. As they walked outside, Anna finally managed to say what she'd been holding in, I'm so grateful to you. You have no idea how much this means. Keanu replied, Please, think nothing of it. We just solved a small problem together. I hope everything will get better for you. Leaving the library, Anna paused at the threshold and glanced back. Her gaze traveled across the towering bookshelves, the sunlight pouring through the tall windows, and the few people still quietly discussing what had happened. She realized she'd found something important here, the belief that there really are good people in the world. They all stepped out together, and Anna understood that her life hadn't suddenly become perfect. There were still tasks and struggles ahead. But something had shifted. She now had confidence that there were those willing to help when it truly mattered, even if they happened to be a world-famous star. Once they were out on the sidewalk, Keanu lingered a moment. Take care of yourself and Leo. And don't forget to pick up your library card next time. They exchanged brief smiles. Dennis stood nearby, silently pleased at how it all ended, needing no words to convey that he felt part of something meaningful. Anna, hugging Leo and clutching the books, watched as Keanu said his farewells and disappeared down the street, blending into the crowd. He looked so ordinary among the people, yet possessed such an extraordinary heart. Within moments, he was gone from view, leaving her with an indescribable sense of warmth. On their way home, Leo couldn't stop talking about meeting the man from the movies, who turned out to be so kind and unassuming. Anna listened to her son with a slight smile, tears of relief shining in her eyes. They still had challenges to face, but today proved that you never know who might help you in a difficult moment. The story's ending revealed itself through a simple act of kindness. Keanu's small gesture, merely sticking up for a mother and her child, became a source of tremendous hope and faith in people. And everyone else present in the library that day saw just how powerfully compassion can affect the human heart. Anna barely noticed the message arriving on her phone from a neighbor offering to pick up groceries for her. Could this be the start of more good deeds, she thought. And who knows, perhaps Mariana herself would later rethink her words, recalling the little boy who just wanted a dinosaur book. Conclusion. Every good deed we do is a small seed that can grow into something miraculous. You don't have to be a world-famous actor to change someone's fate. Sometimes it's enough simply to reach out when another person can't cope alone. Remember, you too can be the one who brings hope at the most crucial moment. Thank you for watching. And remember, even the smallest acts of kindness can change the world.